Arrivederci, everyone. Good morning to everyone at Spurs. Good morning to us. Right, Slav there with that introduction.
I just realised what you said there.
You just realised, look, Antonio Conte is on the brink, people. Good morning to everyone. Ben is not with us this morning, but we have Slav as an able replacement. Good morning, Slav. How are you feeling?
I'm boiling.
You're boiling. I know, it's very, very hot in here. It's very hot, but look, hopefully Antonio Conte news can cool you down. How are you? Look. The whole week, people have been clamouring for Pochettino. People, obviously, Conte's kind of been like an outside shot. People have been like, yeah, Conte's available on a free, but is he really going to fit with the how Levy likes to manage the finances, all this kind of stuff? He always seems to fall out with every chairman he's been at. You know, even he couldn't even, Abramovich couldn't even satisfy him at Chelsea. So how the hell is Levy going to satisfy him? So it never looked like a goer.
Fun to watch.
Exactly, it never looked like a goer. We know how Conte is kind of like a crazy manager in terms of the expectations, his demands, all this kind of stuff, and also on the top of that, we have this whole style of football. He's a bit of more of a pragmatic manager. When Levy said, you know, we've been moving away from our DNA for the past 2 years, and we're going to get back to that with this next appointment. But he's obviously one of the best managers in Europe at the moment. So it's weird news that Conte is set to become the manager of Tottenham. And I can't help but be excited because of the calibre of manager we are getting. But are you a bit disappointed that obviously Pochettino hasn't worked out and we are getting Conte? Or is it are you completely on the Conte train?
Did you want Poch for sentimental reasons or because you thought he was the right person for us?
I thought for both. I thought he was the right person for us. Sentimental reasons, yeah, but also in terms of the way he plays football, that attacking style, it suited that suits what Spurs fans want to see.
Yeah, but then these are the players that stopped playing for Poch. So you have. I mean, I don't think it would have worked. Do you think it would have worked if he came back?
Who, Pochettino?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? It would have been a risk, and obviously it didn't work. It kind of at the ending of his first tenure, obviously it fell flat pretty badly, but. Would it have? I think it could have. He could have had a second crack at it. I really do.
I think it's too early.
A part of me also felt that.
I think it's too early, and I think we need. It's a difficult one because Levy came out and he said it's time for. He basically said I want an attacking manager, a project manager, someone that's gonna, start something fresh. And he's basically gone for the modernised Mourinho in Conte and. Yeah, it's a tough one. I I'm really hot.
Jeez, yeah, you can see you're sweating, but it's all right. Yeah, I'm pretty hot as well. It's just a very look. We're in summertime here. This is how it works.
That's what Conte does to you. Makes you. You see that? You see the clips of the Conte's teams playing out from the back, and you imagine Dyer and all of that doing it, and it makes you.
It makes you start to sweat. Harry Winks trying to control the midfield under Conte,
trying to play out the back.
Oh my god.
No, I'm excited. I really am. You can't deny he's one of the best managers in the world. Won the league 9 out of his last 11 seasons. In his first seasons, look, he took Inter to their first title in a decade. Is it a decade? Must have been since Mourinho.
Since Mourinho, 2010.
So, yeah, I mean, I am excited. I mean, it's not done yet.
It's not. That's the thing. Okay, it's not done yet. We can go through the news. So in the news this morning, obviously last night, Ali Gold. We got the Here We Gold last night.
I wouldn't say that's a Here We Gold.
It's a Here We Gold.
I would say that's a Here We Gold soon.
Any news that we get from Alistair Gold that says that is like, okay, let me get it up. Actually, let me get on Twitter. I'll get up on the phone and we can go through it. What he said. All right. So here's his thread. So he tweeted at 9:15 last night. Now looking likely that Antonio Conte will become the next Tottenham boss. Spurs pushed hard to bring Maurizio Pochettino back, but PSG have fought hard to keep him. Conte is one of the top managers in the world, and it's going to be fascinating to see how he will fit in a very different environment at Spurs than he's previously had elsewhere. The arrival of his former Juventus director of football Fabio Paratici is also looking likely, but both men will need funds to work with, and it's going to be interesting to see if they get that and where from. Conte suddenly becoming a free agent made him a very attractive prospect for Levy, but if he puts pen to paper as expected, it'll be intriguing to see how the two gel. Whether he fits that Levy DNA statement and whether he can settle at Spurs for longer than elsewhere. No denying it'll be a big statement appointment, but without adequate funding, Conte is going to find far more frustration ahead than he did at Inter and Chelsea. As a journalist, he'll be fascinating character to cover, and I hope he's given a chance to succeed. And yes, stuff always happens when I'm off.
Okay, when you say it like that, that's when you get excited.
When what?
When you read that out, you get
that's
excited.
What I'm saying.
But
yeah, so Here We Gold, if I've ever seen one.
I'll wait till I see him holding up the shirt. But what do you think this means for our number 10?
Harry Kane. Funny you say that, because according to a few reports this morning, let me find a tweet that I saw this morning. According to a few reports this morning, one of the demands that Conte has, if he is agreeing to join Tottenham, is Harry Kane staying at Spurs for at least another year. And I think that's one of his demands, apparently. Let me see if I can find the tweet. Here we go, from Sky Italia. Apparently, Antonio Conte has demanded that should he join, then the club will absolutely not sell Harry Kane. And do you think that's something the club will grant him?
Yeah, but then you have to say, do you think from Harry Kane's point of view that's enough? Bringing in Conte is enough to convince him to want to stay?
I think he can be convinced. I don't think we're gonna get Conte and he's like, all right, I'm happy now. I'm in it for Spurs for the long haul. I'm just thinking that how I saw the whole Harry Kane situation is look, 2 seasons outside Champions League football. We didn't at the end of last season we had no manager. We had absolutely no direction. We didn't know what we were doing, right? At the end of the season just been. We had no managers.
Sorry,
yeah. Mourinho, he had just sacked Mourinho, who we just sacked Mourinho, who we just had a great relationship with, and who was a winner. He had the same mentality as him. And we just sacked him. We brought in a rookie in Ryan Mason for the last 6 games. We're going into the Euros. We've got no direction. We've got no manager. Doesn't look like there's going to be much money to spend or anything. So he's thinking, why the hell am I going to stick around? And and I said this consistently, the longer we go with no manager, Kane's mind will never change. The only chance we have of changing Kane's mind is getting a high-profile manager who he'll like. That's the only chance, because the longer we go without a manager, why would he stay when we have no manager? There's no reason to stay because there's no direction. Now we have Conte, and there's a conversation to be had. Look, we've got Conte in, we're going to give him funds, we're going to back him, blah, blah, blah. Now there's a conversation. Until we got a manager, and there was no conversation to be had, right? What's the conversation until we get a manager?
It would have been, I want to leave, or why we want you to stay, but why would I stay?
Exactly, there's no conversation. Yeah. Now we can have a conversation with Kane, I think.
Because from the Tottenham side of things, there was nothing to put on the table.
There was nothing. There was nothing.
No manager. Like
Exactly,
you said,
not even
no
a
direction. No money. No European. Well, okay.
You Conference League.
No proper European football. But then I read yesterday as well that I read that if Pochettino had come, it wouldn't have convinced. He was apparently Kane said, "Look, he's a great friend of mine, but it's not going to convince me to stay. Bringing back Poch." Do you think that's why that Levy then went and got Conte instead?
I think the whole Poch deal got just a bit too complicated. I think PSG were digging their heels in. I think they added an extra year of contract.
That was automatically extended for PSG getting into the Champions League.
Okay, whatever. It was extended, so that means an extra year's compensation Tottenham had to pay. It was all of a sudden getting very, very expensive. I felt, and if Poch wasn't going to force his way out, which it doesn't seem like, I never thought Poch was the kind of guy to force his way out. He didn't seem like
he's a proud man.
Exactly, and also not only that. First of all, he's a proud man. He's got high morals, like very strong moral framework in his head, and also he's a lot of respect for PSG because he was captain there. So if PSG are really backing him to stay, and obviously he might want to leave, but I don't think he's the type of guy to say, "Look, I'm going to resign." After 6 months being in this job, although I'm not happy with maybe how things are run over here or whatever, I don't think he's the type of guy for, especially at a club he was captain at, to just go, "Look, I'm going to resign. I'm that unhappy. I'm going to go join Tottenham." I think it's the kind of guy. I said to Ben yesterday, it's more likely that he has a conversation with the PSG owners and they settle their differences than it is him having a conversation with the PSG owners and he resigns. I think it's more likely the former. Yeah. And that was the only way it seemed that we were going to get Pochettino, if he was going to resign, and it seemed he wasn't going to do that. And Conte just makes more sense in that sense.
And I think from a Tottenham point of view, I think they sort of know that Conte's not going to be around for, he's not a 4 or 5 year manager.
That's where he hasn't been, has he?
And I think they've probably got it in their mind that, all right, well, let's have a go with Conte, and then by the end of that, by the time we're done with that, Poch's contract at PSG will be up, and
maybe
we can have a go from then. Look, I do think he will come back eventually, Pochettino. So, yeah, no, I agree. And
when you look at Antonio Conte, obviously, look, glittering career.
His record, actually, his earlier managerial career didn't start great. He got sacked in Serie B.
Serie B, is that right?
But in the last decade, it's
he's been brilliant. He's been brilliant. Pretty much since taking over from Juventus in 2011. He's been a club manager for 7 of the last 10 years. And of those 7 years, he's won 5 league titles.
And he's won the FA Cup.
And he won the FA Cup in the year.
Coppa Italia.
Yep. He got to the quarterfinals of that with Italy in that Euros in 2016. And I remember going into that Euros, everyone said they were going to go out in the group stages because they had such a bad team. I remember Giaccherini from Sunderland was starting for them every game. They got to the quarters, and some say they overachieved in that aspect. But obviously, yes, in his last 2 club managerial jobs, Chelsea was there for 2 years, but won the league in his first. Inter Milan there for 2 years, won the league in his second. Juventus, he was there for 3, but then he left to join the Italy job. So
the thing, and on that, I think he didn't win the league in his first season at Inter, but I think they finished
they got the Champions League.
They finished second.
They challenged.
They were only a few points off.
Yeah. And he was actually very close.
90 points or something.
And if I remember rightly, he was very close to leaving at the end of his first year.
Yeah.
I remember he was very close. I remember he was saying that he didn't think he was going to have the adequate funds in his next season to challenge all this kind of stuff. There was disagreements. I remember at the end of the season, he said, "Look, there's going to be conversations to have, and we'll see where we go next season." And they end up staying, and they won the league, and then that was an incredible achievement. Apparently, at the moment, there are still some differences in the wage structure between what we're offering and what Conte wants. Apparently, there's that 3 million difference, which was talked about yesterday, is still there. And according to some reports, I'm trying to find them, Spurs are willing to make up that difference in bonuses and incentives, but Conte wants it guaranteed. So maybe this could rumble on for a bit longer.
Levy.
He's gonna get levied. Levy's coming to the fore again.
Yeah, the bonuses. If you win the league, the Conference League, and the FA Cup, will give you the 3 mil. That's basically what he's gonna.
Literally,
you get 1-0 per trophy.
Yeah.
But, he's an absolute lunatic, by the way. I love it.
him on the touchline
is
is
gonna be
incredible. Let me just get through some super chats because there have been a few flying in this morning. Essa Al-Shawamari says, "Morning, boys. I'm excited for the Conte era. Hope this is the one." Yeah, I hope. Look, we're all hoping, we're all clamouring, we're hoping that someone can bloody get us a trophy. And if Conte bloody can't get us a trophy,
I give up.
No one can.
I give up.
I saw the best tweet yesterday was, if anyone can turn Spurs around, it's Conte. If anyone can break Conte, it's Spurs.
Yeah.
And that's definitely right.
We got a thing for ex-Chelsea managers now.
We definitely do, and I
wouldn't be surprised if we got Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, literally. We keep going to ex-Chelsea. I don't know what it is at the moment. We're just obsessed with ex-Chelsea managers, and they've all failed.
And I said before when we first sat Mourinho, I said I didn't want another ex-Chelsea manager, and now I'm really excited.
Here we go.
But the five at the back system. Might get Victor Moses in, Ashley Young, all these players.
I don't know how he gets the best out of these players. It's unbelievable.
No, but I think there'll be some players that will thrive under Conte. In you look at the fullbacks, the right wing back, a left wing, might get some decent performances out of Matt Doherty. I read that we want a new right back because Aurier has decided he's leaving.
Yeah.
Thank you for making that decision for us. Regulon, Davies is a left.
Regulon, I think, could really benefit
Ryan
from
Sessegnon as well.
And Sessegnon, I agree.
I think there could be some good performances and some decent players.
And when you're looking at,
as long as we get some new centre backs in, and also Marcel Sabitzer, who last night for Austria was unbelievable.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch the game, but
he was really good last
hopefully
night.
With Conte through the door, maybe we could convince him to come now.
Yeah, the 5-3-2, I'm quite excited. We can go and raid into, get Skriniar.
But also, you say 5-3-2, but at Chelsea, it was more of 3-4-3.
I'm just quite excited to see some coaching and some tactics. With Mourinho, it was 11 behind the ball. And
that was it.
That was it.
I kind of hear you. Ryland1738 says, in your opinion, do we still go for Aarons or Doherty thrive under Conte? I think
both.
We need another one. It's obvious we need another one.
I think Doherty will. I wouldn't go as far as say as thrive, but I think that performance against Leicester was really good.
Definitely, yeah, it's probably his
much
best
better
of the season. Yeah.
I think under Conte he could do really well. Look, he turned Victor Moses into the best right wing back in the country. So why can't he turn?
I agree with that. And I did say to Ben a couple of days ago that as much as Doherty's had a disappointing season, and if it was up to me, I probably would cut my losses on him.
Yeah.
I do think we are going to give him another year.
Yeah,
we are going to give him another year. I don't think we're going to sell him straight away. I don't think anyone's going to buy. We paid 15 million for him last season. We're max at the moment. We're probably going to get like 7 or something like that, and that's probably going back to Wolves. I think we give him another year and see where he can prove himself for another year. Because I think just writing him off after a year, the club will see that as harsh. I think.
I agree. I also think not that this is a transfer show. However, I think that Zeki Celik is available with a year left and 15 million euros is the top price tag. He just won the league with Lille. Really talented Turkish player. Really like him.
Agreed.
I read today as well. We want Merih Demiral.
Yeah, from Juventus.
Another top player. This is what I'm talking. I mean, also you got to think about the Conte pool as well. Look, you see Lukaku coming out saying Conte made me a better player, a better man. But look, we said all this. We said all this about Mourinho.
That's true. That is true. You're right. I think we'll go on that in a second. But Darkson G21 says, in order for Kane to stay, he needs to see Deadwood leave /sold. Then he needs to see at least 3 to 5 signings, B+ signings, no more D's and under, especially director of football.
Yeah, I mean, I just on that, when Kane wants to see the Deadwood leave. Did you see Sissoko's quote saying Kane needs to be at a team winning titles and whatever? And
is that what he said? I didn't see that.
And it must really irk him inside not winning. And I'm like, well, he doesn't win any bloody titles because he's playing up front with you behind him.
Oh my God! Is that
Do you
what
really
Sissoko
think Harry
said?
Kane turns around, sees Sissoko, and goes, "Oh God"?
Is that what Sissoko said? That's brilliant. Because you should look to yourself.
You're half the reason we don't do anything.
Will Stewart, big up Will Stewart, he says, looking forward to being a part of the Conte Cooper Domata and support the club with a strong tactical manager who wins titles and not a puppet. Well, look.
Conte content.
Look, let's be honest. Mourinho wasn't a puppet, was he? So it's not like he was one who always pushed back. So
this is a really. I just want a yes or a no answer.
Go on.
Do you think, because Conte's record in the first season, he took over Chelsea as 10th when they were 10th.
I won the league.
And won the league into the second season, but they got
still challenged for the title first season.
89 points or something in their first season. Everywhere he goes, seems to win the title or something in their first season. Do you think he can win the title with us in his first season?
No, I don't think he can win the title. Well, the only
Are you sure?
I don't think. I tell you, because even though City, to be fair, are in transition and they could drop off a tiny bit, but it's unlikely. It's unlikely because they'll probably make the right moves, especially if they sign Kane. They'll definitely win the league. Exactly. Man United, they're improving. Chelsea
I'm not worried about United with Ollie in charge.
Chelsea are going to be in the title race next year. Liverpool, with they just signed a centre back. They're gonna be even if they do sell Salah, I'm sure they can replace him and whatnot. So even top four is going to be a big ask, let alone a title challenge. So I
don't know. I just think there's something about Conte.
There is, and he's an absolute winner. I reckon he can definitely win us a trophy. Definitely in his first season.
I think if he can get top four. And get the Conference League and maybe on top the FA Cup, that would be a dream. And
to be honest, the last two managers who appointed are probably the two managers who stopped Pochettino winning the FA Cup, wasn't it? Conte knocked him in the semis and Mourinho the next year.
I remember that semi-final, the 4-2.
We dominated and
they pretty much played their second team. They played Ake, Batshuayi, Hazard was on the bench, and then it was 2-2, and they brought Costa and Hazard on and they won.
Yeah. I remember
that changed the game.
I remember that was so awful.
Matic scored from 40 yards. I remember that.
Oh, that hurt.
And they also stopped us winning the league.
They did.
I think we were closer to winning the league.
Let's be honest, if it wasn't for Conte...
We had those two title challenges under Poch, and I think we were closer to winning the league in that Conte season.
I agree.
Than we were in the Leicester season.
If it wasn't for Conte, then Pochettino probably would have cleaned up.
Yeah, Conte... he changed that system to that 3-4-3 early in the season, and they went 14 straight wins. Mm-hmm. And then they lost to us.
Yeah. That's the thing. And we were by far if it wasn't for Conte that season, we would have had a 3-1 in the league because no one else was competing. Just another team coming out of nowhere, just like Leicester, to take it from us.
And also, like I said, Chelsea had finished 10th the year before.
Yeah.
No one expected them to go and win the league, and it's
classic Tottenham. Just a reminder, if you don't see the pin chat, we will be taking calls shortly to get your guys' opinions on the Antonio Conte news. But also want to mention something while I've got your attention. We are doing a Euro 2020 Predictor game with Scorito this summer, which we are going to give away prizes for all the winners, cash prizes as well. So you're absolutely free to play. You can predict all the results from all the Euro games. You predict who's going to qualify from the group. You can predict the top goal scorers as well. If you just scroll down to the description right now, click the link and join our league for the Scorito Euro 2020 Predictor League. Come join us and you can be in it. It's absolutely free to play and you can win some prizes for the winners.
And you can try and beat me, Sim or Ben.
Exactly, we're all going to be playing, so try and finish above us. See if you can beat it. You have to be in it to win it. So scroll down, hit the link in the description, and join the Euro 2020 Predictor game for the summer. Let's see some more super chats here. Time is of the essence, says Chelsea had winners when Conte arrived, Spurs don't.
Did they?
They did. Look, although they finished 10th, you got to remember...
Hazard?
Yeah, but the year before that, they won the league. Under Mourinho. So they won the league, finished 10th, then won the league again. So most of that squad had won the league a couple of years before that.
Who played in that Chelsea team? Who was in it?
For the Conte one?
Yeah.
So you had Courtois in goal.
Yeah.
You had a back three of Cahill, David Luiz and Azpilicueta.
Yeah.
You had a midfield four of Moses,
Alonso.
Kante, Matic and Alonso. Yeah. And a front three of Hazard, Costa and Pedro or Willian.
Yeah, okay, maybe we're not going
all at that peak, pretty much.
But look,
I do think
if you sort out this back four or five, whatever it's going to be, if we get some defenders in, get some of the deadwood out, I really think we can get a top four challenge on it at the very least.
I agree with that. Of course we can. We've got a
decent core. People forget, and also look, I don't think. Does anyone remember Conte wanting Ndombele in the summer?
He did. Yeah, nearly signed him. Yeah.
I remember Fabrizio Romano doing that, putting out that tweet. We got a decent core. Like, whatever people say about Lloris, he's a good goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. We have a good defense, like Reguilon. He'll love. I think Ndombele, Skip, Højbjerg, Kane, Son. I think there's a
I think he has a lot to
core
play
of
with.
players, yeah.
And obviously we're gonna. I wonder who will go talk about maybe. If you look at his Inter Milan squad, apparently they need to sell players to raise funds. If Conte does come
I'd
here,
buy half of them.
yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of players.
Nico Barella is the one.
Yeah, Barella's obviously the one, but he's going to cost a shitload. He's going to cost
Skriniar,
like 60.
Barella, Eriksen.
Skriniar, surely might be available for a good price, and he might be. But then again, he tried to ship out Skriniar, didn't he? That's why we nearly got him, because he tried to ship him out.
Who's their other centre half?
De Vrij. He's good. He's really good. Dutch centre back. I like him a lot.
I'll take any of them over what we've got.
I like De Vrij a lot.
He's gonna.
Hakimi's gonna go to
Eric
PSG.
Dyer in the head.
Eriksen.
He's 29. I just think age-wise.
But then he also didn't like Eriksen that much, did he? Even though
He won them the league.
At the latter point, he obviously got him more playing time. But and do you think there's any chance if we sell Kane, Lukaku maybe replaces him?
Yeah, but I think we'd end up with Danny Ings or Ollie Watkins.
Can we not spend the money on Lukaku?
Get Haaland. I don't think Kane will go if Conte comes.
I think Kane will be convinced to say another year. I'm hoping, but I've got a feeling he might be. Because I think now we can actually put something on the table for him. Whereas before we couldn't. And also, one thing... well, let's go through the Super Chats because they're flying in at the moment. Josh King. Big up Josh King. He says, where is this money coming from? Conte wants Kane to stay, but wouldn't come out with funds... but wouldn't come without funds promised. Stadium naming rights about to be announced, maybe? I'm just thinking that we're going to sell the likes of Aurier, Sissoko.
I've read Lucas Moura might be
maybe
off.
I reckon one of the wingers, one of Lamella, Lucas,
Can they both
and Bergwijn. Maybe Lamella and Lucas.
Can they? All three of them can go, in my opinion.
They're probably going to be...
I don't think will come back. Ancelotti loves Bale.
Well, you say that. There was actually
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
There was an update today. Yes, you're right. Ancelotti did say yesterday that he is a big fan of Gareth Bale and he's going to be coming back and motivated. However, Tom Alnut, who is of the BBC, usually very reliable, he said, on Bale's prospects, there's very little optimism that Ancelotti's arrival will suddenly transform his situation at Real Madrid. Bale is now a financial issue for the club, and a change of coach hasn't changed that.
Yeah, they do need to sell. They're in a lot of financial problems. I mean, there's a new stadium they're building. It just caught fire.
Yep.
That's just for a start.
Yeah, I love that there was a thing. Did you see that timeline? Like Bale said, I don't want to say what I'm doing because it will cause chaos. And Bale goes to Madrid and sets the fire starts.
Yeah.
So look, I think there is still a chance Bale comes back, and you got to remember Conte at Chelsea in his prime, in that first season. Sorry, he won the league with a 30-year-old Pedro at right wing, and Bale's better than him. So with the front three of Son, Kane, and Bale, he could do a lot with that.
Oh, absolutely. I also think someone as well we didn't mention in this back three that I think will be absolutely brilliant next season for if Conte comes is Joe Rodon.
Joe Rodon,
a centre back we don't. Whilst we need to buy, the one I definitely keep is him. And I think Joe Rodon will be really, really good in a back three.
And I think Toby could also maybe
Sanchez
with a bit more protection. They can. I think one of them will leave this summer. I don't think they'll get rid of both. I don't think we'll get rid of both.
The problem is with those two, Sanchez was 40 million, still has a few years left. So you're going to want to recoup some money for him. And Dyer comes under the English bracket, which we have a problem with.
That's true. We do have a problem with that.
And also, who's going to want to buy Eric Dyer?
Get him to Roma, hopefully. You can hope. Dark Sun G21, even if the other top four get stronger, I'm sure mid-table teams will make them drop points. The teams like Brighton, Burnley, Arsenal, and now Norwich. Good one. I love that. But then they'll probably if the mid-table teams get stronger, we'll drop points to them as well. Philip Hunt says priority for Conte is to fix the squad, get Kane to stay. Otherwise, City will just run away with the league and win the FA Cup. Look, I don't think any Spurs fan should. I don't think any Spurs fan should have any ambitions of a league title next year, this season, not just yet. I think it's way too soon. I think we fell into the trap under Mourinho when I especially did, especially at the beginning of the season when we were signing Bale, Reguilon, Mourinho's second season, all this kind of stuff was playing a role, and I thought maybe we can challenge for the title, but it's not that simple. I don't think. I think we have to temper our expectations. But I definitely think I think the aim is to win a trophy and get in top 4, just like it was last season. We didn't achieve it last season, so you got to say it's a big jump to go from that to just winning the league.
If you want Harry Kane to stay, he's not going to be convinced by it if you go and say to him, "Yeah, I think we can get in the top 4 and win the League Cup."
FA Cup and top 4.
I think if you want him to stay, you've got to say, "Look, we're going to try and win the title this season."
I think we will try, but I don't think it's realistic at the moment. Unless, I don't know, it depends who we sign, obviously. A few good signings can change everything.
I'm interested. Do you know anything about this Fabio Paratici?
So that's what I was going to go on about.
All I know is that he did the Ronaldo deal.
For Juventus.
Yeah, and Aaron Ramsey on a free.
Well, that one wasn't great because they paid him 400 grand a week. Paratici. He obviously...
Just also, before you go on in him, by the way, we had the choice of Ranić and Campos, 2 of the best directors of football in the world, and they're deciding to go with this guy.
Yeah, because he knows Conte. He works with Conte. And I don't think we had a choice between...
but you could have got those 2. The 2 that are finding some of the best players around Europe.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
So Paratici is set to join Conte as director of football. What that means for what's his name? What that means for
Hitchin.
Steve Hitchin is very much unknown.
What a shame.
But Paratici is set to join Conte, who was obviously with him at Juventus, not when he was at Juventus in 2011. I'm just going to try and see get his transfer record up and see if we can think about what we think about his transfer record. Let's see. Because he was at Juventus with Conte. He's been at Juventus ever since, pretty much. So let's see. Here's his transfer history. See if we can get it up. I'm going to try and find it here. Wait, not yet. You're not yet. Don't bring it up yet. I'm going to try and find it. But we've all said we need a director of football. And at least Conte and Paratici know what
do you reckon,
they know each other.
Do you reckon Paratici hates the transfer window, like Hitchin?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Can you imagine just watching a documentary on anything that wasn't around football, just and the person doing the job said, "You know what? I hate it." I cannot believe he said to the cameras on the Tottenham documentary, "I hate my job. I hate scouting players. I'll do it." See, me and you could do it. We wouldn't hate it.
Let me see. So I think he's been at Juventus, Paratici, ever since 2011.
He was offered the job at us 5 years ago.
Let me see. Non-playing career. He's been a sporting director. In May 2010, moved from Sampdoria to Juventus, and he's been there ever since. So, okay. So if we can see their transfer record over the last few seasons, well, the last 2 seasons, they haven't signed that many players. They only signed Weston McKennie last season. A couple years ago. Sorry. Last season they signed Artur, Alvaro Morata, Federico Chiesa, Weston McKennie. So look, I think there's some good players there.
Yeah, Chiesa and McKennie are pretty decent.
Season before that they got Matthijs de Ligt, Danilo, Lucas Pellegrini from AS Roma. Did they sign him? And what? They signed him and loaned him back on those dodgy deals. Mm-hmm. Christian Romero and Demiral from Sassuolo. And they got 3 free transfers in Rabiot, Ramsey and Buffon from back from PSG. But he did let go of Cancelo to Man City. Here, we can get up now. Let's get the phone up. So I'm just looking at some of his transfers he's been responsible for. Season before that, he brought in Cancelo, Douglas Costa, Bonucci back from AC Milan. Obviously brought in Ronaldo from Madrid. Emre Can on a free from Liverpool. I'm trying to find some gems he's maybe spotted. Bernardeschi, he signed a few years ago from Fiorentina. Matuidi, Quadrado, Mehdi Benassia, Wojciech Szczesny. Bentancur from Boca Juniors, he's turned out to be a decent player. Matteo Schillaggio. Mostly, to be fair though, what I'm looking, most of them seem to be like known players, like players who are not quite kind of big players who not exactly hard to get to see. For example, like Matuidi and Cuadrado and Benatia. These players are not like gems. These are players well known around Europe. Let's see who else he's been responsible for. He was responsible for the Higuain deal, 80 million for a 28-year-old at the time for Juventus. Marco Piaccia, Mario Lemina he signed. Dani Alves on a free.
He's getting worse.
Mario Lemina. He was responsible for bringing Pogba in on a free.
Who?
Pogba.
Okay, that's not a bad one.
Paulo Dybala, he signed from Palermo for 36
He's got a
million.
year left. Can we get him in this summer?
I think he's about to sign a new contract, apparently.
Great, next.
Miriam Pjanic from Roma, he's a great player.
Shut me down.
Alexandro from Porto, he's a good player.
Yeah.
Mario Mandzukic, he signed for big money, but
Scored in that Champions League final.
What goal that was?
Yeah.
Simone Zaza, that wasn't a good signing. Roberto Pereira, the former Watford player. Hernandez from Inter Milan, I remember him. He was quite a decent Brazilian player. Let's see, anyone else? How many times I've seen Cuadrado here? He's signed about 3 times or something. Who else has he been responsible for? Alvaro Morata again. He loves Morata, this guy. Stefan Stuaro.
I hope we don't get Morata.
Signed Evra for very cheap. Who else? Oh, Kingsley Coman. He signed from PSG and then sold him off to Bayern Munich. That was a good find.
He's won the league every single year he's played football, which I think is pretty ridiculous.
He brought in Angelo Ogbonna, now of West Ham, to Juventus back in 2013 from Torino.
Yeah.
Carlos Tevez he brought in from Man City. Berardi from Sassuolo. He brought in Immobile and then sold him off to Torino. Ciro Immobile. So there was some good and there was some bad. He signed Fernando Llorente on a free from Bilbao. Love that. So look, obviously there are going to be some good and some bad, and there's going to be hits and misses, like everyone. And then especially when he's been at a club for 10 years, there's obviously going to be a lot of transfers, and you can sift through them. But at least he's going to know Conte. He's going to know they're going to have good conversation in terms of what they both want. They're going to be on the same page, and they're going to know the Italian market quite well. So maybe there's some things to be had there. So I think it's definitely a step in the right direction to get in a director of football, because at the moment our recruitment is just horrendous. So we need something to change.
No, yeah, our recruitment is dreadful.
We need a fresh set of eyes.
We just need somebody that's not Levy doing the transfers.
That's also true. Let's read a couple more of these super chats, and maybe we'll bring on some fans on soon. Dark Sun G21 are on Dyer English spot. Our youths are English, right?
Sorry.
On Dyer English spot. Our youths are English, right? Yeah, they are. But it depends. It depends. Who we bring in, who we're bringing through from the youth, if they're going to be part of the first team next season. If they. I think I don't know, it's still a bit of an issue. And DarkSkinGuy21 again says, I'm pretty sure any director of football will be better than Hitchin. Hitchin just seems to be a friend of Levy, to be honest. That's all it seems with him. Doesn't seem to be like he's got the job on a good basis. All right, shall we start getting some calls on?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk to the fans. All right, let me just get these yours. Yeah, I need to plug these in.
These yours or mine?
Guys. Yeah, just plug them here. I'll take these ones. Yeah, you can plug those ones.
I don't mind.
Yeah, go and plug them those ones in there. All right. There's Aravind there first. We're going to get him on it in shortly. We're going to start getting people on. It's interesting to get people's opinions, because
I wonder if anyone's not.
Just look.
Which one?
Anyone. It's obviously exciting appointment, but there are obviously, I've got it in already. There are obviously reservations over on there. There's obviously going to be reservations.
Not everyone's going to want Conte. I mean, I know people that don't want him just because he managed Chelsea and don't want another Chelsea manager.
And I wonder, there's two ways to think of it. Is it another Mourinho situation, or is it lazy to compare the two just because they're two more pragmatic managers?
Does also, Levy came out in a statement, we want the manager fits the DNA of the club, attacking. I'm not saying Conte plays defensive football, but, it doesn't scream Conte doesn't scream the fact that it fits the Tottenham DNA, if that makes sense.
It doesn't. It's another one where, just like Mourinho, it's like, for me at the time, as much as I was kind of
Marriage of
excited.
convenience.
First of all, that, but as much as I was excited at the time, Mourinho's becoming one of the best managers of all time, there was a part of me was like, he's not the right fit, really, is he? Is it really going to work between him and Levy? And at the end, it didn't. So I've got those same fears with Conte, to be honest. And I'm not saying I'm not happy with getting Conte, because I am. But there's just something in my head saying, this is all going to end badly.
I think we sat here a couple of weeks ago, and we were going through some of the managers on a phone show, and it was like the options were Parker, Potter, Ten Hag had just signed that new deal.
Yeah, so obviously it's a lot better than that. It's a lot better
and we
than
were
that.
sitting in great.
Yeah.
So
look, I'm obviously a lot happier than I was then. Let's get Aravind on.
Hello,
hey, Aravind.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you as well. There's a bit of an echo. Sorry, I can hear an echo. But it's all right. It's not your side. Tell me what your feelings, Aravind, towards the Conte news, and are you excited about his potential appointment?
Look, the only thing which makes me excited is because we're getting a sporting director with him, whom he knows really well. That's the only way I see it. Because when we came with Mourinho, he first thing, he was just finding for a job. He was jobless, so he just wanted a job to come, and he got a job in London. So he wanted it, that's why he got in the Spurs job. And Antonio Conte, he knows that he has his CV really well. He has just won a title recently, and if he can wait, he can get good offers if he waits for more years. So that's something there which is over there. And the most important thing which I really want is a sporting director, which Hitchin, I don't want to be him taking the deals further on. And with Antonio Conte and with him, it's worked really good in the past seasons, which they have won titles. So that's the main reason why Antonio Conte is over there. And one more thing is that, look, we are already in a really bad position. We are seventh in the league, and there should be something which someone who needs to be there to like attract good players. And I think so. Conte is the only thing. I know Poch is a really good manager, but he doesn't have that same thing which he knows Italian market. He knows which players he can get, and there are a lot of players who play for him where Poch can't get him. Yes, it's not a brand of football which we aren't excited with. And Daniel Levy, as you know, he's waited for 43 days without a manager, and he's seen this opening door where he can get both of them together. And right now, with the position we are in, Conte is the person who is the thing which can attract players, like how last season Reguilon get with us because he wanted to play for Mourinho. And this is the only manager right now, as of now, who can at least, I don't see as a title challenger right now, but it depends upon what investments we do. But he's a manager who can actually attract a lot of good players, and that's the thing with the director of football which we have. And if we get both of them together, that's possible.
Do you think the comparisons with Mourinho are lazy, in terms of people saying Mourinho came and it didn't kind of work out, but now Conte's coming, and despite him also being kind of a pragmatic manager, that there's also going to clash with Levy and this kind of stuff? Do you think is that lazy, or do you think there's a solid concerns?
Yeah, look, it's going to be a serious concern depending on how we're going to recruit players. It's simple. Like if Conte wants a player in a certain position, and if you're not going to invest him for his style of play, and it's not going to work. Whereas with Pochettino, okay, he is a manager who can get young players. He can adapt with it and try to change and bring out the best out of the players. It's not the same with Conte, and he needs I'm not saying that he won't improve any players, but there are certain positions which he would really want, like the centre back position, which really is there. So it really depends upon a recruitment. If we recruit players which he wants for the certain position where he thinks it's very, very important, and if you fill up that position, it won't be a failure. But if you don't do that, then it's going to go back to the same route.
Yeah. In terms of with bringing in Paratici as well with Conte this summer, do you expect a summer of a lot of spending, and do you expect Spurs to kind of back Conte heavily this summer, and do you expect Harry Kane to stay as well on the back of this Conte news?
look, I'm seeing on Kane, which I saw his recent interview. He said that he feels that he has 8 to 10 years of his career to play, and is very like motivated over that. So I don't see him leaving this summer if Conte calls him and says that, look, give me a season and let's see how it goes. If we're going in that slope of upward direction and we get a FA Cup and a top four, and Conte is still there for another season where he's like, okay, now we can go ahead and win the title. I don't see him leaving, and it all depends upon what Conte says with him. And depending upon our signings, it really I don't know from where we're going to get the money, but I really see that there's going to be a lot of outgoings like Sissoko, Oreo. I don't know, Steve. There's a lot of rumors on Steven Bergwijn. So a lot of players which we need to get out, and I think so. That's the main source of money with that, and I'm pretty sure there should be some funds which he has kept regardless of this to back Conte to give the signing. So it all depends upon which players he really wants in that team, and if he can get that players for that money, then I think so we can go with that. So if Harry Kane, I really think he's going to stay for this season. He's going to assess if we win a cup and go with a top four, and then we have a team which can actually build up much further to win a title. I don't see him leaving, but it all depends upon how this season goes by, because he has just said that he has another 8 to 9 years of his career left, and I don't think so. His value will drop so much in 1 year if he has another good season.
All right. Nice one, Aravind. Cheers for coming on. And looking forward to Conte, aren't we? Let's go.
Yeah, sure.
Cheers. Nice one,
It could be
Aravind.
really awkward if he doesn't come now.
It would be very awkward if he doesn't come. Is Matt Hayes there in the background? Yeah. Let's get Matt. I want to speak to Matt. Let's get Matt on. Morning, Matt. How are we doing? Oh, just turned afternoon. So good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon. How are you
Good
guys?
afternoon. Can I say, what does Arrivederci actually mean? What's that actually mean? Is that just hello?
Goodbye.
Is that goodbye?
Yeah, it's goodbye. Ciao is hello.
It's one of them.
Oh, ciao is hello. So Arriva, I thought no, because I thought Arriva is that a goodbye?
Yeah.
Okay, I shouldn't have opened the show with Arrivederci then. Pardon my Italian.
That was
Matt,
why I looked at you funny. I was always saying goodbye to
I thought it was like good morning or like hello. I thought it was a greeting. Is it not a greeting? Okay, I got that wrong. Matt, good to have you on the show. Good to have you
to be
again.
here.
Look, this Conte news has got all the Spurs fans going wild. It's got everyone excited. I want to know what your thoughts are. Are we doing the same mistakes as the previous with Mourinho? Have we learned from our mistakes? Is this an appointment that's going to be the right fit for the club, do you think?
I think it has the potential to be the right appointment, but in the same breath, it has the potential to be the same sort of mistakes that we made in the past. And the key difference in that is going to be Fabio Paratici and the investment being given to Conte and for bringing in the players that he wants. Now, you could not find another Spurs fan who wanted Pochettino more than I did, and I will confidently say that. But I did say 3 or 4 days ago as well that Conte plus Paratici is better than Pochettino, because the head has to rule the heart in this one, and the work they've done together. And I'm a massive fan of Paratici from looking into him the last few days, but I think Conte is much closer and probably is right in the prime of his career. Whereas with Jose Mourinho, he was starting to come to the end, and he had that what you could class as a failure at Manchester United. Where with Conte, his stocks have never been higher. He's just gone and ended that 9-year reign of Juventus in Italy that he actually started 10 years ago as well. I think Conte has a lot more about him, and he's more in touch and in tune with the game than what Jose Mourinho was when he was brought in. So there is that potential for things to go awry, because if Conte's coming in and saying, well, I want to keep Harry Kane, and that's one of the key things I want to come into the club. If Levy says, yeah, we'll give you that, but then 2 weeks' time turns around and accepts a £150 million offer from Manchester City, Conte will walk, because he is that type of manager. When things go wrong, he walks. But on the flip side of that, one of the reasons why I do feel as though he's been given these assurances is he is leaving Inter Milan because they want to sell their best players and because they don't want to invest, and they're trying to go more towards youth. So why would he walk away from Inter Milan and then go to a club that isn't promising the same thing won't happen? So I was confident with Mourinho that this would happen. I think the pandemic kind of changed the way Levy was going to go about that era. But I think Conte is going to be given what he wants.
Interesting. And you said you've been looking into Paratici past couple of days. Tell me what you've learned about him.
Well, I'm going to start out in saying he's a bit better at his job than Steve Hitchen, which I'm sure a lot of people will know for sure. he came into Juventus in a very difficult time, and the first year he was there, he wasn't the sporting director. He had some weird other title, but since then, I think it's in 2012, he was officially their sporting director under a load of different job titles. Now, it was very soon after Juventus' relegation to the Serie B and them trying to rebuild their club that he actually came in. And the first season he was there, they finished 7th, and every single year after that, bar this year, of course, they finished 1st. So he oversaw from the very beginning to the very end of that incredible run that they've had. There's some very impressive things about him. The free signings that he has brought in, just the signings that he got completely for free. There's a list. I know you touched on a few of them there. I apologize for the background noise there. There's Andrea Pirlo, Paul Pogba, Lucio from Inter Milan, Fernando Llorente, Kingsley Coman, Sami Khedira, Dani Alves, Emre Can, Aaron Ramsey, Adrian Rabiot, all brought in for free. So he does have an eye for signing those players in a Bosman deal like that. He, like you alluded to a while ago, he probably pulled off the biggest transfer of the century in bringing Cristiano Ronaldo from Real Madrid. And he's made some other really good signings as well, the likes of Matthias de Ligt and all that. But what's been so impressive is the way that Juventus have continued to get better and better and better during his time. Just like, yes, they were winning their titles the whole way through, but they were doing it in better fashion. And the goodbye message that Juventus put up on their website, praising him and all the work that he did, it was a really heartfelt message. And I think that goes to show, from a big club like them, if they do feel this bad about him leaving, he must be damn good at his job.
And it's interesting.
The way he says that, I'm now really excited.
You're sold. You're sold on Paratici now. Love it. And it's interesting in terms of the Pirlo one. I forgot about that Pirlo one because I remember at the time when he got released by AC Milan, a lot of people were actually saying, you know, Pirlo's a bit finished. He was old, like he was winding down his career. And when he signed for Juventus, that was actually probably the best years of his career. When he was at Juventus, he was unbelievable for those first few years, and Paratici, to see that in a player who was aging like that, I mean that's very, very impressive as well. But yeah, look, the way you've put it is very, very enticing, isn't it? The Paratici and Conte.
I'm sold.
You're sold. So we're going to win the league next year, Matt.
Matt could sell me. Matt, you could sell me anything, anytime.
Yeah, no, the league's coming next season. I'm convinced. Yeah, we're winning. We'll somehow get in the Champions League and win that as well. Just with Paratici and Conte.
When we're looking at obviously Inter Milan, as you said, they need the money. They're in financial struggle. Conte's just left there. Do you think we're going to be looking at Inter Milan for some signings that can maybe plug some gaps in our squad?
Yeah, I think we have to. I mean, we can of course go around the world and pick whatever players Conte wants, but it's been proven as recently as it could have been that there are players in that Inter Milan team who can properly implement Conte's philosophies, tactics, and all that. And given that Inter Milan want to sell, they're looking to raise up to £80 million in this transfer window and decrease their wage budget by 15 to 20%. Is Milan Skriniar, and defense is very important to this Conte side. And I think there's a fine line between Conte being a very good defensive manager who focuses a lot on defensive training and being a defensive team. Because I think that is a bit of a myth that he is a very defensive manager.
I was about to say, I just wanted they scored his Inter Milan side scored more goals than Pep City side last year. So,
yeah, they had 89 goals in the Serie A. Only Bayern and Atalanta scored more throughout Europe.
Well, then I can throw that Mourinho's Real Madrid with a top goal scoring side in La Liga history.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? I mean people call him a defensive manager. I'm just saying he's not a defensive manager, Conte. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we do need, but no matter what manager we get in, we need new centre-backs. But the key component of Antonio Conte's centre-backs is they need to be really, really good ball players. I mean, there's a clip going around from Inter playing Barcelona in the Champions League in 2019, and the way they played it out from the back was like you're playing FIFA career mode on beginner. They made it look so easy. And someone like Milan Skriniar, who has in the past said he would be open to come to Spurs, obviously has been in talks with us, I think could be a very good target. There's a few other centre-backs there, Bastoni, the younger lad, he may be open to move, Stefan de Vrij as well. But I think there will be one or two players for Inter Milan that Conte will definitely go back looking for. Whether or not we can make the move happen, I wouldn't be entirely sure. But I think 2 weeks ago I'd have said no chance for Milan Skriniar this summer. But I'm thinking there may be a bit of potential for that move to happen now.
Do you think any of the fringe players that we've got that a lot of us have called out for being not good enough might either suit Conte's football or be liked by Conte? Some of the players that Mourinho didn't like, I think of players that were out on loan firstly, players like Foyth, and then players that were at the club, Matt Doherty, Harry Winks, players like that. Do you think they've got a future under Conte if Conte does end up coming?
I think there's a potential for it. One thing that I would disagree with is a lot of people saying the likes of Matt Doherty and Ben Davis are going to thrive under Conte. And look, there's nothing I like more as an Irish fan to see Doherty do well, but Conte's style does heavily rely on fullbacks, where there's going to be a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. But one consistent feature that you can look at throughout his career is that his wing backs aren't fullbacks; they're more kind of wingers who are dropping a bit deeper. Like look at Inter Milan now. You have Kwadwo Asamoah out on the left hand side, Ashraf Hakimi, who in the early times of his career did play further forward. Even last season there was Antonio Candreva, and Asamoah was there back at Juventus in his early time as well. So I can't imagine those fullbacks will be as good as people are expecting in this. But then in that same sort of subject, you can look at Steven Bergwijn maybe becoming that right wing back for us, because he throughout the beginning of last season was very good in playing that right wing position, but very, very defensively. So maybe he in that right wing back role could work. But if you're looking at the likes of Harry Winks, there's no chance for him. Juan Foyth, I think Villarreal will take him permanently. And the thing you're looking at with our fringe players is a lot of them just don't really care. As bad as that is to say, they're not quite buying into the manager's philosophies and all that. And I'm sure we've all seen a clip of Antonio Conte talking to Thierry Henry back in 2017, and he said any player that doesn't have the right attitude or the right behaviour, he wants to kill them. So there's a lot of players there that people might be thinking could get back into the Spurs side who could be 6 feet under, not too. Yeah,
no. My favorite Conte video is the one from the stands where he's like drags his backroom staff member by the scruff and throws him down the touchline.
Yeah, and that's one thing we're definitely guaranteed with Conte, and that's a lot of passion and a lot of fire on the touchline. I remember Mourinho getting annoyed at him because he went 4-0 up. Chelsea were playing Man United, and they scored a fourth goal in the 89th minute, and he was like going mad as if he just scored a last-minute winner, and he was like Conte was just going crazy on the touchline, and Mourinho had to have a chat with him. He was like, look, you've just gone 4-0 up, just like calm it down a bit, like have some respect.
Didn't Conte call Mourinho a knobhead in a press conference?
So no, he called him a little man. He said
he'll always be a little man.
Yeah, and he'll always be a little man. And it'll be interesting to see what Conte, because people say he plays his three at the back, but at Chelsea, his main formation was a 3-4-3. He had two wingers, Hazard and Pedro, with Conte up front, with Costa up front, and two centre mids. At Inter, it's been a bit different. He likes to play the partnership of Martinez and Lukaku up front, with Eriksen or three midfielders in the middle. So it'll be interesting to see what he does at Spurs. Do you think that, looking at the squad now, do you think he thinks bringing another striker to partner Kane and we can go two up top, or do you think he's thinking, looking at the wingers we've got, maybe playing a bit more of a 3-4-3?
I think the potential there is to do both of those and kind of switch between them depending on who we're coming up against. I see a lot of people saying the likes of Harry Kane and Gareth Bale could struggle in this Conte team and mightn't be able to hit the levels they've hit this season. Well, if you look at the way he played under Chelsea with that 3-4-3, Diego Costa, as much as he was a target man, a lot of the time he did drop deeper and kind of allow Hazard and Pedro to run into those channels, which we know is Harry Kane's specialty. And then Son, Bale maybe as those inverted wingers being the players to run in there. But also the way he's playing at Inter Milan this season in the 3-5-2, a lot of the time it is Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez being those front two and keeping those wide areas open for the fullbacks or wing backs to be bombing on. But at times as well, he does play kind of wide forwards as a front two. So the likes of Alexis Sanchez and Politano, who are on paper playing as a front two, will pull really wide and then allow the likes of Christian Eriksen and Sensi to bomb forward from midfield into that space. And the inverted wing backs do happen a lot as well. So there's everything that I've seen with Conte and his tactical history. There are players at Spurs who can really fit into that. And I can completely understand people saying it's not going to be the right fit. It's not going to quite work for Spurs. But there's a reason Conte is saying yes to this. And there's a reason Paratici wants to come in and help him do it. These are men who are serial winners. The difference between these guys and Mourinho, like I said, is Mourinho's reputation was already on the line, whereas these guys are right at the height of their career. They can sense something here. They know there's a project. As much as they will be able to bring their own players in, they know the core that is at this club will be able to help them achieve that. And keeping the likes of Harry Kane, Gareth Bale, Heung-min Son, whatever forward play we want to use will be very, very important to the side. And I think it will be something that will bring us trophies.
Yeah, but it's definitely, this job for Conte is definitely going to be a different kind of job than maybe his past two. Well, actually, to be fair, Inter Milan, maybe a fairly similar one, and he did very well there. But at Chelsea, he took over a side, although they had finished 10th the year before, they had won the league a couple of years before, so they do know what it was like to win a league. And at Tottenham, a lot of has been said is we need a rebuild, we're in a different state of the squad, we need a manager who can rebuild us for the long term and get us playing in a certain way, like a Pochettino or something like that. So getting Conte in terms of he is a manager who demands instant success, he has a very high Harry basically demands of his squad, like straight away, demands respect, all that kind of stuff. How hard will it be for him, do you think, to try and get that instant impact that he's had at his other clubs?
It's going to be the hardest job he's had, and I think he'll be open to say that. Now, look at the last club, the English club he was at. He took over the last permanent manager at Chelsea was Jose Mourinho, and he had a lot to fix there. He's coming into, of course, an identical situation here at Spurs, a team that's been failing, not meeting expectations, a divided dressing room from Jose. But what he had at Chelsea and what he's had at Juventus and Inter Milan is that history of winning, and that kind of winning mentality instilled within that squad that he absolutely doesn't have at Spurs. And that is the first thing he'll need to fix, because he's a tactical genius. He is able to build the mentality of a squad better than most managers in world football. So I've no doubt we'll be winning games. We'll be, competing with the big teams. But it's about getting us over the line at the end. And as in terms of an instant impact, of course, that's not going to be possible, because it'll be towards the end of the season that you do start to see that. But I think it's going to be a gradual process with him in terms of getting to that stage, because he is a short-term manager. Usually says 2 years at club, but right now one of the key things he's negotiating is a long-term contract. Maybe this could be a kind of switch for him. Maybe he is looking at maybe building us to a future. But there aren't many managers out there that, again, it hurts to say, but there aren't many managers out there that could fix this Spurs side and that winning mentality that we're failing to have. But if there's one out there, it would be Antonio Conte. 7 seasons in top flight football. He won the league in 5 of those, taking over a failing Chelsea side, failing Inter Milan side, and a struggling Juventus side, and managing to turn that around. He is used to this situation, but perhaps it's a more exaggerated version of what he's been in the past. It's going to be so difficult, but we have to have hope. We have to believe he can do it.
Just quickly, we mentioned Milan Skriniar could be on the list of Tottenham players we're looking to sign. Isn't it interesting, though, that last year we nearly signed him because Conte nearly shipped him out, and he didn't think he could work in his system. Obviously, he kept him because Spurs didn't stump up the cash. Kind of did a 180. Obviously, I think come the second half of the season, he was still playing every game, and they won the league. So do you think he's completely switched his opinion on Skriniar?
Yeah, I'd say so. I never understood why he wanted him out in the first place. And he was a very talented centre back and seems to fit into everything Conte would want from a player like that. I don't know if it was a personal reason or just mentality, kind of attitude sort of thing. But yeah, Skriniar has managed to turn it around and very impressively. And hopefully he'll be continuing his time under Conte.
Yeah, let's see. Hopefully we definitely need some defenders, and that's the first port of call he's going to look for this summer. That's for sure. Let's hope this deal gets announced. Apparently there is still a bit of a gap in the wages. Apparently they're still saying there's still that 3 million gap. Hopefully they can overcome that. Knowing how stubborn both these two guys, they might even rumble on for a few more weeks. But hopefully it gets done. But Matt, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for coming on, mate. And obviously, go on, Sam. No. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was about to say, go and subscribe to Matty Hayes' YouTube channel. Absolutely brilliant stuff, brilliant Spurs content. So go over and subscribe to his channel. Thanks for coming on, Matt. Good to speak to you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, mate. All right, that was Matty Hayes giving the lowdown on Antonio Conte and Paratici as well. So that was a good call, really good call. Let's get Dwarka on. Let's get Dwarka. Hey, mate, how you doing?
I'm fine. Let's how you doing?
Yeah, look, it's a very, very interesting morning, a very interesting couple of days. It looked like Pochettino was trying to force a move out to PSG to come to Spurs. Now Conte is set to join. It looks like an almost done deal. Do you think he's the right fit for Tottenham? What's your opinion?
Well, I think when a top class manager like Antonio Conte wants your job, Tottenham job, you can't say no to him, right? Because you see his track record. I mean, many all the previous persons who have come here who are talking now, they said how good he is, and we all know that he repaired Juventus, he repaired Inter Milan, and he was very successful at Chelsea. And people are comparing him with Mourinho, which I think it's wrong because they score a lot of goals. They play very attacking football in Inter Milan. I watch Syria not very much, but I watch the important games like when they play like the Milan derby, when they play against Juventus. I watch the important games and then play really good football. The partnership between Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez, it's absolutely brilliant. And what I always feel that is Tottenham have a lot of potential with that 3-5-2 because we have Matt Doherty. As much as we hated him this season, he was very brilliant at Wolves playing as that wing back position because I think when we bought him, he was the second best right back in the league. He had most attacking contributions from that right back position. Only Alexander Arnold had more than him. And you have Sergio Reguilon, who is also very attacking footballer. And in that left centre back position, Ben Davies usually plays that when on international duties. And you have Tanganga, a very high prospect. He can play on that right centre back position. We have the players suited for this Conte system, and I feel that this man can repair he can stabilize this ship. Now Tottenham are in a bad position. I think Conte is the man who can stabilize this and make a strong base, hopefully for in the future for Pochettino's arrival.
Yeah, but are you worried a bit about that? The last two jobs Conte has been at Chelsea, he left because he fell out with Abramovich because he didn't feel like he was being supported. At Inter Milan, he fell out with the board because he didn't feel like he was going to be supported for the upcoming season. And now he's joining a club who our biggest problem is the board. So is that not an issue?
It could be, but Daniel Levy is he knows that he's under pressure right now because he knows that fans are unhappy and he needs to make a statement. And this is the first step towards that, signing a world class manager who has a winning mentality. Obviously, I think not many people were excited with Mourinho, but there is a lot of difference between these guys. Last when Mourinho came to Spurs, when he won in 2017. 2017 was that right? Europa League. That was his last trophy. But with Conte, it's not like that. He won trophies. He just won the Serie A. It's a lot different. And I can say that many have Levy will definitely back Conte, and he did back Mourinho. To be honest, we were happy with the transfer with the summer we had last season. We got so many players for the future. We got Hoiberg, we got Region. Uh, we could see Gareth Bale again in a lily white shirt, and we got so many good players there. He made a stay. Of course, we missed out on Skriniar, but I felt that considering the market, uh, the severe impact COVID had on all these football teams, I kind of understood why we missed out on Milan Skriniar. I think he started that to repair his mistakes, and I think Daniel Levy will back Antonio Conte again this season. But to be fair, anything can happen in future. They could fall out. In the end, we should keep in our minds that Antonio Conte is a temporary fix. He's just here to stabilize the ship, and hopefully somebody for future, hopefully Pochettino.
Do you think? What do you think the objectives will be for Conte in his first season? Like, what do you think he will set out to achieve?
Well, under I think Daniel Levy was quite content with Pochettino when we were getting constant Champions League football. So I think his first priority would be to get back into the Champions League. Uh, a domestic trophy would be nice. FA Cup, I think it's something Tottenham fans are always proud of because we won it 8 times. Uh, so I think a domestic trophy plus a top four finish would do a lot good for Levy in his first season,
Yeah,
considering.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, obviously that would be unbelievable, but we'll have to wait and see. But all right, Dwarka, always good to speak to you, mate. I'll speak to you in a bit.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
See
you
you
very
soon.
much, mate.
All right, is there anyone else waiting, or is that? Oh, there is. Oh, Brian. Let's get Brian on. Yes, Brian. How are we doing, mate?
I'm good. I'm liking the Simeon your Aravind entrance. It's like a Del Boy with bonjour to say goodbye and only falls on horses. It's a good way to go.
Yeah, mate, I got the wrong greeting apparently, which is slightly embarrassing. But look, you live and you learn. Brian,
Exactly.
talk to me about Conte. You obviously we all pinning for Pochettino. It looks like Conte has become available and has become too good of an opportunity to turn down. First of all, what's your opinion on bringing in someone of the caliber of Conte? But as well, what's your opinion on Daniel Levy bringing him in and what he needs to do for you to satisfy you?
Oh, they're two very, very different questions.
They
okay, so start off with I want Conte over Poch, and the only reason I want Conte over Poch is if this technical director comes in. I think this director of football is the key to all of it, because we need someone to be that middle link between the manager and the parasite. And it comes to the point where Conte's attitude and his attitude will just be, I won't take any of Levy's crap, as you guys have been saying beforehand. So I think this is vital. He's a more serial winner, he's a more relevant kind of manager to what Jose was, where Conte's on the way up, Jose's definitely on the decline. And as for Daniel Levy, this man, he can't do anything to change my mind unless we get a manager in and the manager gets backed with every transfer request he wants for at least 3 seasons. No nonsense, no bull, no BS. Just, I want this player. He comes in, and I think the director of football is key to it. But my biggest thing about this is I still don't think either of them are coming. I think Levy's going to screw this up.
Yeah, because there are rumours at the moment that there's still a bit of a difference between what the Conte is demanding and what Levy is offering. Apparently, there's about a €3 million difference a year at the moment, and Spurs are trying to make it up in incentives and bonuses and things like that. But apparently that is currently a sticking point. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully that's one that can be overcome. Do you think Conte could be the perfect man to hold Levy's to account, though?
I really think he is. I mean, we've seen. I mean, you were saying, I saw before. Like, obviously, we heard Matt Hayes, who's been incredible over this time, talking about when he said, "I will kill people." You've seen Slav say when it was the guy on the touchline. He is just no nonsense. He will take no prisoners, whether it's the players or the board. And having this director of football who seems to be outstanding at his job, and if Levy brings them in, you look at it, they've worked together at Juventus, so they both know how to work together. They've had 3-4 years of success together, winning the league every year together. What idiot would bring them in and then say, well done for doing all that. I can see that you bring domestic trophies galore when you work together. I'm now going to interfere.
Only Levy could do that.
Yeah, exactly. There's only one man. We were doing a stream yesterday and someone said... only Conte could probably break Levy, and Levy's the only man that could probably break Conte. And we saw that with Jose.
I
saw how that worked.
Just on what you say, it's like, I'm going to interfere. It's like he's probably going to bring them both in, and he'll have a meeting. You know, it'll be Levy, Paratici, and Conte, and then he'll bring Steve Hitchen in and go. So I know you guys have had success together, and you've won. Like you say, you win trophies everywhere you go. You are the best manager and you're the best combination of work. But this is Steve. Steve's gonna help you out with and pick out the transfers we're gonna make. Steve hates it. Steve hates it here and he hates the transfer window, but I'm sure you'll all get on really well.
You can just see it happening though, Slav. You can just literally, unfortunately, at the soap opera that is Tottenham, you can see it happening.
He's quite literally in a meeting going to go, yeah, Daniel Levy's going to go, yeah, this is my mate Steve.
It really is going to be. It really is. That's the only thing.
Obviously, Conte is one of the best managers in Europe right now. There's no doubt about that. He's one of the most successful managers over the past decade. He's been unbelievable for pretty much wherever he's been in terms of domestically. But how big is that voice in the back of your head saying this just isn't the right fit, it isn't going to work? And he's, his past 2 clubs, he's fallen out with the board, and that's why he's left. And we have Levy in charge. And as well, this voice was in my head when we as much as I was excited that we were hiring Mourinho, this voice was in my head: is this really going to work between Mourinho and Levy? And alas, it didn't in the end. So how big is that voice inside your head telling you that is this really going to work?
Well, to tell you the truth, Sim, the voice in the back of my head is screaming out more that it's not going to work with Pochettino than it is with Conte. And the only reason is because of the parasite at the top. It's too soon for him, and I think he will screw Pochettino. Conte just will not have it. And the good thing we'll get with Conte is he will take no prisoners. If the board screw up and don't back him, it won't be any cryptic messages like Mourinho. He will call it as it is. And it will be in pure daylight for all to see. I mean, like I said, I'm one of those that aren't going to get excited till we see it's breaking news, it's released everywhere, because 3 million, I mean, we can make 3 million on a match day. Mm-hmm. So how is 3 million up? If you're about to get a guy and a director of football that brings unrivaled success, why are you haggling over 3 million?
Yeah, I know.
Why? For me, when I heard that on Sky Sports, they said, "Yep, we're in talks," and there's some distance with the wages. I was like, "There you go. There's the first chink in the armor," and it's the day before you brilliant guys have to renew your season tickets if you haven't. And let's see how long that pay rise. This will go on till at least tomorrow when nothing's been mentioned.
Yeah, hang on.
And then it'll be like, we couldn't agree the transfer. We couldn't agree, and then we're back to square one. That's what I personally feel.
Surely you make the 3 million from renewals.
Should do. It should
There
look
you go as
3
well.
million. Look, 3 million for a top club should not be a sticking point when you've got a dream manager waiting for you and you really want him.
We spent 3 million on Kieran Trippier. Why can't
Exactly.
we
And you
spend
also have
3
to
million
remember,
on
Sam,
Antonio Conte?
you also have to remember that we've saved millions from sacking Mourinho when we did.
Exactly.
So where are those millions? There's enough millions there apparently with the 30 to go pay Poch's 20 million release fee.
You're right, Brian. You're right. It'd be very Levy to break that for the for the talks to break down back to square one, and it's going to be Gareth Southgate.
Well, he's so stubborn, Levy, isn't he? He doesn't budge an inch ever, and so it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if it does become a sticking point. What do you think Harry Kane is making of the potential appointment? Do you think it changes his mind at all?
Do you know what? I think all the Spurs players right now, I think they might be living in the Truman Show or an episode of EastEnders because it's just complete drama every single time. I mean, I think Conte is the one manager, and I can't remember where I heard it. I think he's the one manager that may be able to keep Kane for one season. He may be the last throw of the dice because like I said, Chelsea won the league. I'm not saying we're going to win the league. Chelsea won the league first year. Inter Milan won the league first year. If he does get backed, and you're talking transfer, if we get Skriniar, and I've wanted him ever since we didn't get him, Skriniar and Rodon and Tanganga on either side of them is mouthwatering to me. Is absolutely mouthwatering. So I mean, if he comes, I think he's the one that can do it. But we look at it, and I hate to harp on about my favourite person again, but he said we're going to have a manager by the end of the season when we sat Mourinho. Well, that's a lie. He said we're going to have a manager within 10 days of the season ending. That's been proven to be a lie. And now we're going to have a... So this will be the trilogy. The third lie, we'll have it before the Euros. And if we don't have it, how stupid do we look, especially with pre-season, transfer targets, everything. I'm really, 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 really hoping we announce Conte any moment now.
I mean, it won't be any moment
unfortunately, I
now.
can't see it.
They've just said that it's still haggling over the 3 million.
Yeah, still hanging over 3 million.
3 million. So basically 2028 will be when we've got this down to... it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What is it now? Day 46 without a manager.
Apparently
I've just got
ever.
a message saying that we're still haggling over the 3
Who's it
million.
from?
Just from my mate. He's just read it on Twitter. They've just said there's still no agreement.
And Brian, let me ask you this as well. In his end of season message, Levy, he said Spurs during the pandemic and during the new stadium have lost sight of their key priorities and the DNA of the club, and the next appointment was going to reflect the DNA of the club and someone who was right for us. Is Conte that man? Is he right for us? Is he got the right DNA for Tottenham, or does that really matter? Are those just words?
I think they're just words. I think they're just him using lovely words to try and make us all feel all warm and tingly inside whenever that man speaks. Listen, we need to win trophies, and we need to. We're at a crossroads now where the player that we've had that is a generational talent is on the verge of walking out. We've been so close so many times. Everything is gloomy at Spurs right now, and if there's one thing, and it's Conte. And like Sam said, I haven't watched a lot of Italian football this season, I must confess, but he played well with Chelsea in that back. When they won the league, they played some great stuff. I was at that semi-final at Wembley when they beat us 4-2 when Matic scored that screamer. Yeah. They played some good football.
That was depressing.
Yeah.
It was very depressing. Even though we were the better team, they played some good football. I mean, and also what excites me is, like Matt Hayes said, and we were saying, the right wing back, you maybe you'll get a tune out of Doherty, but the most exciting part is it could be the ideal position for Bergwijn. It could be the ideal manager for Bergwijn. And you look at it, I think in the Conte system, we've got the players to fit his system better than Poch's, and with a Conte system, we may need to go out by maybe 3 or 4 top players, where I think in a Pochettino setting, we might need to buy 5, 6, 7 top players.
I also think, by the way, this £3 million. Does anyone think that it could be Levy still waiting to hear if Poch does anything?
What? I think the Poch deal is just too complicated. I don't know.
It's not too complicated. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
All you got to do is pay his contract out.
And he won't do it.
But do you think that's the £3 million? He's thinking, if I hold on a day or two, Poch might come public.
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe.
I tell you what, if this Conte deal doesn't get done, I give up. I don't know who.
If we fail
else.
to get Conte over the line and Pochettino proves to be too difficult, who will we end up with at this point? And the whole fan base will be absolutely apoplectic if this Conte deal at this point doesn't get through. Because he's on a free, so there's no reason apart from Levy being stubborn we won't get through.
Only Levy can fuck up a free transfer. It's unbelievable. And I mean, if you're going to choose a figure, please choose something more than 3 million. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys could open a GoFundMe page and we could raise 3 million.
You can sit here and say,
you
can sit here and go, all right, if it was a £15 million difference, because you had excessive wage demands, and you're like, okay, it's probably a bit. You can maybe understand, but 3 million is on it. Like you said, it's what you make on a match day at this new stadium.
Literally, so. There's no excuse from at this point. If you really want Conte, there is no excuse not to get it over the line. I'm just here reading now from Sky Italia that Fabio Paratici will give his final answer on joining Tottenham early next week. So he's not yet given an answer. But which also makes me think, because he's left Juventus, and he's saying he's going to give his final answer early next week. Surely if he was sold on the project, he would sign up straight away. Why is he delaying it till early next week?
It's all. I mean, I'm sure you've spoken about it before I came on. I saw it. I woke up with YouTube on, and it was like 6:45 in the morning there, and I saw you guys. I was like, right, I'm coming on. So I don't know what you were saying before, but you look at it and season ticket renewals are due in, and it's already saying next week. It's already, like you said, it's already, to me, there's chinks in the armour already. Like you said, you would just do it. You look at Real Madrid. They lose their manager on a Thursday. They don't say a word to anything. There's no leaks. There's no nothing. There's no let's smoke and mirrors. Let's do something here. If I'd gone to bed Monday night and somebody had asked me, will Ancelotti still be manager at Everton the very next day, I'd have gone 100 billion% yes. And then bang, it's done. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. It's done. Well, there's just so many wrong things. And already seeing that it's coming next week. Season ticket renewals are done, and this is a no-go. I'm really, really sorry to rain on everyone's parade, but it's going to happen again.
You reckon we're all going to be let down?
Sim, you know what it's like when I come to leave you. I'm normally a billion% right. I hate to say, and I can just see it. I can just see it happening. No Poch, no. I mean, how does Poch feel right now that we all this hurrah started? Oh, they want me back. And all of a sudden, Conte. It's just he's playing two people against each other.
I don't think that's Levy's doing. I think
no.
I think Poch was probably offered the job, and he said, "You've got to go public with it," and he didn't.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit different for Poch. He's got a job, and he's only just started a project there. It's a bit different.
Yeah, I think we did want him, and I think PSG are desperate to hold on to him. It sounds like anyway.
Exactly.
They really want to hold on to him. So.
Poch ain't the kind of guy that's going to. He's very, very loyal. He played at PSG. He is not going to come out publicly and say, "I want to leave." There is no way.
I don't think that's on Levy to not be able to get Poch.
I agree.
No, but that's why I think, like you said, that's the reason why he's got Conte to make him think, "Oh, wait a minute." So I think he's playing two people against each other, and he's going to come out with nothing. And then God knows what's going to happen to us. God knows.
All right, Brian. Always good to chat to you, mate. And
always a pleasure, boys.
We'll see what happens when the news breaks, when the deal's off.
Welcome, Martinez.
Exactly. Martinez and Southgate are coming, along with Eddie Howe. That'll be the trilogy we have.
Great.
Exactly. Why not? But guys, have a great show, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, Brian.
Cheers.
Leave you out.
Leave you out. A super chat here from Jack's Energy says Brian needs to relax and appreciate the complexity of prospective agreements. It's good we're taking our time and shooting for the ideal. Look, I can't criticise Levy for going for Conte. I can't criticise him because he's one of the best managers in Europe.
I will criticise him if he can't get the deal done.
First of all, that, and I will criticise him if he brings him in and then within a year or so he's gone because he can't get on with the board. Because it's just a recipe. Look, this deal, this manager appointment, is the perfect appointment, but there's also a recipe for disaster. It's absolute recipe for disaster, considering how he left his past two jobs. He left his past two jobs because of the board. So,
I agree.
Look, all logic points to Conte clashing with the board and then him falling out and then leaving.
It sounds like they've clashed already.
Honestly, but if we do support Conte in the way he needs, and we bring in that director of football, and we get everyone on the same page, then yes, he can work. And Conte is one of the best managers in Europe, but it's all
Levy needs to
it's
let
on
people do
Spurs.
their job. But yeah.
All right, let's get the Joracle on. Let's get Jory. Yes, Jory. How you doing?
Hey,
Good
guys.
morning. Good afternoon.
Morning.
Morning.
Well, afternoon.
Afternoon for us. I don't know what's the time
Afternoon,
difference
yeah.
in Iceland. Is it afternoon?
No, it's midday here.
Midday.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
One.
I want to know what your opinions are on
I
the
could do
prospective
with being in
Conte
Iceland right
appointment.
now. I'm boiling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think. By the way, big up to Brian. I think he knows Levy better than Levy probably. I think his the way he described it there, I think it's really good, and it brings up a really good point, which I kind of want to entertain as well, which is, does Levy involve himself in conversations that are not really sincere, that are not really it's not really gonna come through on his end. He knows he's not gonna get it through, but he involves himself to sell tickets. We're talking about that, but also just to lift his own cachet, to lift his own prestige, to be talking to these guys about this job, considering the season we just had, considering how he treated Mourinho at the end. Really, we weren't expecting neither of these guys to be talking to us. So all of this news has been good PR for Levy. And I'm kind of thinking like there could be an aspect to it, which is that the 3 million, for example, that's just his way of getting out of it. He never had any intention of going through with it. It's too expensive. He's not. He knows that Conte is going to be his own death nail, basically, and so on. So the same with Potts. I think that also could have been a smokescreen to get us all riled up and get us thinking that he's really, changed his ways. But that being said, if let's just go on the assumption that it's sincere. I don't know why we would go on that assumption with Levy, but let's do that. I would say Conte is, it's kind of ridiculous that he would consider the job in one way, considering how everything has gone. But I also think both with, Mauricio and Conte share the same kind of, for them, it's all about winning. It's all about football. It's not about the money. It's not about their ego, maybe to some extent, but only in the sense of winning trophies, winning titles, and so on. And I actually think like Conte is one that thinks no ego, including his own, is too big to be, thrown, to be sacrificed for the greater good of winning something. So I think he's great fit for Tottenham in that way. And but I think if we go this way, and especially if we get the sporting director in as well, it's gonna be. I mean, Levy max has 2 years to win the title or Champions League, or he will have, like, Conte will be up in arms, and Conte will become Enoch Out fans' greatest ally for sure.
Yeah.
So Levy is accelerating what happened this summer with the Super League, with the Mourinho sacking, and just the whole season. He's accelerating that process. So you could say with Mourinho, he was playing Russian roulette with one bullet in the chamber. Now he's got 5 bullets in the chambers, and only one empty chamber if you go with Conte.
Yeah.
So
No, it's interesting. I think you could be right, but it could be a smoke screen. It could be a PR stunt.
Look,
It's
we've seen it
Conte
before with
thing.
Levy. I remember I've seen it on many times on deadline day where we've gone for a transfer which we know is completely unrealistic and it hasn't got over the line, like right at the deadline, and then we go, oh, we tried, but it was never going to happen anyway, and it was just a PR thing. It happens. It's happened a lot with Levy. So whether this is one of those, I mean, what I would say is that, yesterday or 2 days ago, Madrid were not even linked at all with Ancelotti. There were no even rumours of Ancelotti going to Madrid, and that's a lot more complicated because he's at Everton. They have a buyout to negotiate, and then they have to agree all of that and then announce him. And they did all of that within a few hours, right? A few hours. Ancelotti's manager. Conte is free. Conte is not on a club right now. Conte, it's completely easy to snap up if you're all on the same page. It shouldn't be taking days to get this done. And that's why I'm a bit sceptical when I'm hearing Paratici is going to wait till next week to give his final answer and the Conte's negotiation still going on. It's like, why is this so difficult to get done when they're not attached to clubs? Why? It shouldn't be.
I have the analogy, like the old cynical guy that I am. I'm kind of like, if you ask somebody what time it is, and they now talk for 10 minutes, something's wrong. That's not how it's supposed to be. The amount of news does make me a little bit skeptical. The amount of rumors and the way we're stealing the headlines right now does make me skeptical, because if you remember with Mourinho, what did we hear in Atlanta for that? Nothing.
If you remember, Mourinho was a free agent.
Yeah, and he was done within
it was done overnight, wasn't it?
Well, Poch was sacked in the evening, and then in the morning Mourinho was appointed.
So what's the difference now?
So when
Mourinho was probably asking for more money than what Conte is asking for.
Oh yeah, probably yeah.
Mourinho was on £15 million a year.
Yeah. Go on, Jory.
So when Levy is really going for goal, he's tight-lipped. He's not spreading rumors and stuff like that, So yeah, unfortunately, I kind of give a lot of credence to what Brian just brought up. But I would say, with Conte, let's say that Conte and the sporting director gets in. I actually think, let's also say the Man City deal gets in. I tweeted you, or I sent you a super chat yesterday, and I said no money, Cancelo and Laporte for Kane. And you guys said, no way, we need more than that. And
yeah, we do.
And you added Jesus to it. So let's just go with that deal, because there's also a history with Cancelo there. So that might actually.
I would add £100 million onto that. Those two players.
And 100 million.
Yeah, I don't think people realise we're talking about the best striker in the world, the England captain.
But I think Cancelo is now rated as probably the best right back in the world right now.
Not
he
dropped him.
Well, that's because the story at least is that he's unhappy because of the rotation and stuff. But anyway, either way, let's go with the three players that Sim and Ben suggested. So Cancelo, Laporte, and Jesus. And then we bring in Sabitzer and Joachim Andersen. And now we're one of the favourites for the title, I think.
Really?
Well, if we revolutionise with Laporte, you're saying bring Laporte in?
Laporte, Cancelo.
Laporte and Andersen. Laporte, Andersen, and Sabitzer.
Laporte, number 1, CB. Andersen, number 2, CB. Cancelo on the right. Region on the left. And Ndombele, Højbjerg on the middle. And, the front, you can play with various combinations there.
I don't think that front three strong enough without Kane.
You don't think so?
I think it depends if we bring Bale back or not, but with Jesus
with Bale there, for sure.
With Bale as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we'll need another striker. I like Jesus, but would I want to rely on him for the whole season? I guess maybe we could. We don't even know, because he's never been relied on for a whole season.
I think Harry Kane is the key to a title.
Yeah, I think that shows also. That's another pleasant kind of thing in the news, is that Conte is insisting on keeping Kane if he wants to come. So that means also that I think Conte is going for a title this season, like first season. He's going to go for the title. I think that's both kind of how he works, and I also think we don't have the time to go for second or third season with Kane. So I think that would be great, and I also think, like, for example, Conte I was starting to worry about Ndombele, because he needs a very special kind of management. And I think he actually needs the hard type, which Mourinho got some good stuff out of him, for sure, until the end there, where the whole French contingency basically threw him under the bus. So if we get Sissoko and Aurier out and they stop confusing on Ndombele with this kind of bullshit, and Conte will definitely be on Ndombele's back and will also make Ndombele maybe see the potential, his own potential. I think he's probably, in my view, could be probably the best manager that Ndombele could get ever. So,
yeah. He wanted him last summer, didn't he?
He did. He tried to sign him.
Yeah.
He tried to sign him for Inter Milan, and
Yeah.
we nearly did a swap deal with Skriniar, didn't we?
Yeah.
Can you see us raiding Inter Milan potentially for a few signings?
That's
Conte
also,
comes?
that's another thing about getting these Italians in, is that if there's a good league to raid in general, it's the Italian league right now. I think you can get a lot of really good deals now. I don't know if we have the money. I think, as far as I think we're pretty broke right now, but I don't know. I mean, Levy needs to do this if he wants to survive. I think, like, if he had gotten Potts in, that would be a stay of execution in terms of his job. He would have gotten 2 years at least to kind of work with it. And I do agree with Brian. Maybe it's too soon for Potts. Maybe Potts would be too lenient once again. I think bringing in almost a steroid version of Mourinho to basically upheave everything and change the structure and the culture of the club could very much be a great thing for Pochettino, so because maybe Pochettino, maybe with the right sporting director he could get it done, but we at least saw last time that he didn't get it done with in the circumstances that he was in. Levy kind of always had the last word in everything. So I think, like, so the positive for me is, like, if this is a PR stunt, you've just basically galvanized us to an even higher point. We're going to be seriously pissed if we're going to be talking about Parker and Potter and whatever in a couple of weeks. Missing out on the window, seeing Sabitzer go through the roof in price, for example, because he's going to have a great Euros, I think, and so on. Like, Levy is on the brink of everything is on the brink of kind of coming apart in terms of his management. So you better bring in either one of these guys. And I would actually say maybe right now, I think Conte might actually be the right medicine for us. But I would love to see Potts, and my strongest feeling was towards getting Potts back. That was basically the only thing that really got me positive again. But I can see it, and I would also say, like, if the sporting director doesn't come, I expect Conte to be arguing with the board within 3 months.
That's probably going to be happening. But Jory, thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah,
Always good to hear
good to see you.
Good to see you as well, mate.
All right, take care, guys.
Speak to you soon.
Bye
bye.
Talking about so there's just been a few updates we can on Twitter.
We are delighted to announce the appointment of Roberto Martinez.
So ESPN have released a couple of updates on the situation. They say that talks between Daniel Levy and Antonio Conte are currently progressing well, and they look to find an agreement. However, they're currently the sticking point is the future of Kane.
Is what? Sorry.
Yeah, a key topic in the talks has been Kane's future, apparently. So they're still discussing whether Levy can guarantee whether Kane can stay or not. So that's that. But also ESPN are saying that Tottenham have now officially ended their interest in Mauricio Pochettino for next season. So it looks like all eggs are in the Conte basket.
I'm a bit concerned about Harry Kane there.
You're a bit concerned about Harry Kane. I think we all are. And talking of management, Inter Milan have just appointed Simone Inzaghi as their replacement.
Is ESPN reliable?
Don't know. Can be a bit hit and miss, ESPN. But that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
No.
And also, the Evening Standard say it's yet to be determined whether the appointment of Conte will be enough to convince Kane to remain at Spurs. The striker has decided to put any talk of his future on hold until after the Euros. So that's an update there from the Evening Standard. And one last update, and this is from France Football. And this is quotes from Leonardo, the PSG sporting director. He says, the rumours surrounding Pochettino are tiring. I talk with him every day to prepare together for next season. He has a 2-year contract, and we are very happy with his work. So it sounds like Pochettino's off the table. Sounds like he isn't going to be coming. He isn't going to be coming next season. So it looks like all eggs are in the Conte basket.
Conte's not going to come if Harry Kane's not here.
That's what it sounds like. Sounds like it's a key sticking point. Apparently, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, Fabio Paratici is already speaking to Tottenham about potential summer signings. I've just been tagged in a tweet that says that. There's obviously updates always pretty much happening every minute, so we'll keep you updated with all these updates. Let's look through some tweets, so because people have been tweeting us, we haven't gone through any of them, so let's look at a few of these tweets that people have been asking us. Alex from Tanguy Fast says, would you want the 45 million for Reguilon from Madrid if we got Conte and therefore play 3-5-2? I personally think that Sessegnon is our best left wing back and Bergwijn is our best right wing back. Therefore, I think the money for Reguilon could be better invested in the squad. Do you think it's worth... I think you can get the best out of Reguilon.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be silly to get rid of him.
Give him a year. I want to see some of these players with a proper coach.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Probably you saying Mourinho's not a proper coach?
I just think he's a manager, not a coach.
That's a good point. I think that's a good distinction. One's between how you manage players, one between how you coach them on the pitch, and there's a big difference. Like Potter's definitely very much a coach.
I think, for example, when Reguilon got the ham for his performance against City, good management, coaching-wise, not great, as we saw towards the end of the season. Kid was all over.
And what do you think of people suggesting Bergwijn could be a good right wing back?
Maybe, but he's a right winger. I don't know. Who knows? I'm not convinced. I think if you're going to get a right wing back, you need a right wing back or more he's not a defender.
He's not a defender.
He's not a defender. I think you and I know that he's not a defender, and he's not going to be a right wing back to win you trophies.
Well, then again, he would have said the same about Victor Moses.
Yeah, I guess.
Cody Mack has tweeted us. It's a song, I think. Inter Juventus, look what he did. Now he hates the Chelsea scum because Conte is a yid. Conte is a yid. Gotta love Cody Mack.
Not yet.
Not yet? Too early? Too early for the
for
songs. Don't mind it though. Marlon, THFC. If our fullbacks were Reguilon, Sessegnon, Doherty and Foyth, that would be decent enough, question mark?
To say that slower?
Reguilon, Sessegnon, Doherty and Foyth. I think the right back would be a bit under par.
Maybe can we get an Aarons in there or a Zeki Celik?
Something like that, and then maybe we're talking.
Yeah,
maybe
I really like Zeki Celik.
And also, you got to think. I think Sessegnon definitely has a place in the squad because I think if Conte gets appointed, Davis becomes a left centre back.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't not a wing back. I know, but I reckon he would like. I reckon he would keep him and play him at left. I reckon he would keep him playing a left centre back, like he did with Azpilicueta. He converted Azpilicueta into a centre back.
Azpilicueta and Ben Davis.
I'm just saying that's what I think he will do. I think he'll keep him and he'll play him left centre back, and Sessegnon and Reguilon can fight out the left wing back position. Bob Spur TV, guys, looking at the Moses and Young, Bergwijn for right wing back. Yeah, that's all we're just saying as well. I'm not convinced yet, but maybe he could be a good option there. You have to wait and see. Let me see what else people are saying. A lot of people saying Bergwijn. Craig Silver. Does all this feel like deja vu and Jose 2.0? I hope I'm wrong. I don't trust Levy / the board to back Conte.
None of us answer these questions. I've got no idea.
None of us trust the board to do it.
No one trusts the board, and I don't know. It remains to be seen.
But what am I supposed to do? Be angry we're getting Conte? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, if we were getting Guardiola, right, we obviously need to back Guardiola, and
Yeah.
I don't trust them to back Guardiola. But what am I going to do? Be
we get
unhappy with
Guardiola?
Huh?
Can we get Guardiola?
No, I'm just saying.
Then he gets Kane.
What I'm saying, am I should I be unhappy if we get Guardiola? You know what I
agree.
mean?
I don't know what
like
you-
I can't. What can I expect? We're getting one of the best managers in Europe. I can't be anything but happy. We're getting.
If
such
in
a
a
good
year's
manager.
time we're sitting here in the same position going, he didn't get backed and we finished 6th and didn't win
Mm-hmm.
a trophy, then yeah, you've got to have that conversation. But can't be angry at the fact you're appointing probably other than Klopp and Pep. Who
Definitely in the top 5 coaches.
If you
in
take
Europe.
out Klopp, Pep, Poch, who would you want?
He's probably above Poch.
I'm not talking about in quality. I'm
Oh,
talking about
right.
Who you would want?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
I mean,
who's
if you-
available.
if I
like-
said to you, you could have any manager in the world other than Klopp, Pep, Poch, who would you pick?
yeah, I mean, he'd probably be it.
Him? Who else? Zidane, maybe?
No, I wouldn't pick
Not even
Zidane. I'd probably rather Conte than Zidane.
Brendan Rodgers? Yeah, you'd go Conte.
Rodgers would be a decent shout, but yeah, Conte would definitely be one of my top
Or
choices.
Nagelsmann. But,
Nagelsmann, yeah,
you'd
but
go Conte.
definitely be up there. So I can't I understand people's reservations. I have reservations over it. Does this make sense?
People have reservations over the board, and I think not Conte.
Yeah, Conte, you can't have reservations over Conte because he's proven what he can do. So if we fail again, I don't think it'll be Conte's fault. But again, obviously we have to wait to see. What else have been tagged in? Yeah, we said that. 4 minutes ago. Right person, wrong time. Tottenham have now ended their interest in Mauricio Pochettino for the club this summer. That's the news coming from ESPN. That's what we got tagged in. So it looks like Pochettino deal is dead. EZZ Production says Conte would be the perfect guy to fire up the lazy bums in our squad.
Said that about Mourinho.
We did say that about Mourinho, and it hasn't really...
This squad needs changing. I don't care who's in charge. No manager's getting anything out of this squad.
Agreed. A lot of these players need to kick up the backside. The Yid Kid said, would you take Poch and Kane stays or Conte and no Kane? But if Conte
and
does
Kane.
come, then we could get Lukaku as a replacement.
Ooh. I don't know.
Conte and Lukaku or Poch and Kane? Tough one. To be honest, it's more likely that Kane stays if we get Conte anyway. So
I don't know. That's such a tough one. They're both quality. I don't know.
I think probably Poch and Kane, but then Conte and Lukaku won a league, so
Oh yeah, I got to go loyal. I go Poch.
I have to go Poch and Kane. Have to go Poch and Kane. Noah Teagle says Conte telling Winks to prepare half-time orange slices.
That's the video I was talking about.
Oh, this is the video.
Drags him off the bench and just launches him down the touchline.
Can't wait for him to start doing this to our coaching staff. Love this guy's got
The
serious
poor
passion.
medical staff being like yanked onto the pitch.
He's got proper passion on
You
the
just see him
touchline,
in the
Conte.
stands grabbing Daniel Levy by the tie, just dragging him down to the pitch.
That's the one thing I'll definitely be looking forward to is that passion on the touchline
Yeah, so I
from
think
Conte.
especially towards the end of the Mourinho reign, he saw him sitting down a lot, with that
Yeah.
passion slowly, evaporated
Dissipating.
over the season.
And
It's as if he sort of gave up with the whole thing, Mourinho.
true. And Stefan Arsov says confirmed Ben Davis for Spurs manager.
What?
No, jeez, I think he's having a joke, having a laugh and a joke. And also, according to the Times, Wilfred Zaha has handed in another transfer request. So
He'll be handing him in forever, mate. You're staying at Palace.
I would take him. I'm a big fan of Wilfred Zaha. Big
I
fan
don't
of
like
Wilfred
his attitude.
Zaha.
Do you think Conte would take that attitude?
I don't think there's an attitude problem.
I do.
I don't, not at all. I think
Maybe he's just frustrated that, that he's got to play with.
I think he's just frustrated that he's still at Palace for
Jordan
all these
Ayew.
years. I think he's a quality player. I think he's got a right attitude. I think even this season, I think he had a good season. I think he tried really, really hard. I don't think there's an attitude problem at all. So I think he'd be a right fit. A great fit for us, I think. Conte is his at WeAreTottenhamTV. Conte is his last-ditch effort to keep Kane at Spurs.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
any
it's part of
manager that's
it.
coming in is a last-ditch effort to keep Kane at Spurs.
What's this? Conte's first training session with Tottenham players.
Think about your life.
Oh,
You are a failure. You are a failure. You can never make
You
it.
hear it?
You can never, you know you.
Can I hear it? No, I can't hear it.
You don't have future here. You don't have future. You can never make it. You're supposed to be a dinner man, serving dinner to the students in the secondary school.
Anyway.
Because you cannot do basic 1+1.
Antonio.
You are here breathing heavy like a dog.
Anyway.
Antonio.
Jamie says, best Spurs channel. Thank you for all your content recently. Oh, thank you, Jamie. That's a very nice tweet to get. Give that a little retweet. All right. We did have a super chat. Where was that super chat? Which I didn't read out. From Dean Cox.
What, the footballer?
I don't think so, but maybe. Never know. Levy has been starstruck again, just like Jose. Doesn't fit the profile at all. He's just going to be a big name and prove he's learned nothing from Jose.
Disagree. Conte.
They're two different managers. I think it's too lazy to say because this guy was successful and can be a bit pragmatic just because we bring another guy. Like they're two completely different coaches, completely different coaches, completely different mindsets, and I think it's lazy to just say they're both the same.
No,
they're not the same. I would have reservations for both, but they're not the same. Xandru said, "This should be the real all or nothing year." Yeah, I would love a documentary following Conte going mad at these players for a year. That would be great. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Let's see. Anyone else tweeting us? Let's see. Riley says, personally, I think even if we lose Kane, Conte will be the perfect way to bring in new players. He is a winner after all. What player wouldn't want to be under a winner? That's the main reason people come to big clubs. It's because of the managers and their success.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he definitely will have some pull, that's for sure. Frazzle says, hope Mason gets a position in the coaching staff with Conte. I reckon it probably lessens his chance to get it.
I reckon he goes back to the under-18s. Matt Taylor just left, didn't he? So I reckon there's a spot there.
I reckon under Poch he would have had a spot, but under Conte, I don't know. And Henry says, how do you think Doherty will play in a back five? I reckon it'll definitely suit him a lot more. He'll definitely suit Doherty a lot better than how he was playing under Jose. And I think he'll get a lot more license to get in the box like he was doing at Wolves or under Conte. Because I remember Marcus Alonso under Conte was very, very offensive. Like he was almost pretty much a left winger for a lot of the time when they were attacking.
Scored a lot of goals.
A lot of goals. How many goals did? But not just goals from shooting from outside the box, like getting back posts, getting into free areas, getting on the end of things, and that was Doherty's forte at Wolves.
Scored against us, didn't he? That free kick at Wembley.
Yeah, but he did. But I'm just saying. Alonso was very much like getting in the positions Doherty used to get in for Wolves, and that was one of Doherty's biggest strengths, his off-the-ball movement, and I think he could definitely bring that out of him.
Yeah.
So I think it could definitely be the best thing for Doherty. All right, but I think that's all we have time for now. Obviously, if any more news breaks, this will be the first place to hear of any breaking news for. Anything Spurs related for the Antonio Conte, we're going to keep our finger on the pulse for any news for Conte. But thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for all the callers for calling in. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all your interaction with the stream. I'll leave you this one tweet which I think we just got, which I think probably sums up the situation. Conte before Spurs and Conte after Tottenham. And that's probably how things are going to end up. But look, I'm excited by the potential, what he can bring. I'm excited by we know what a good manager he is. So that's the exciting part. Whether he can work with Levy on the board remains to be seen. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Hopefully, this saga doesn't roll on for too long.
Another 46 days?
Another 46 days, exactly. But hopefully we get this done sooner rather than later. But we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. But thank you, everyone, for joining us for the stream. Thank you, Slav, as well, for joining us for the stream, as always. Like, subscribe, and comment below. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
You